all right. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing well. Staying cool.
You got does Jimmy know you're in charge of the thermostat over here?
I didn't tell him yet.
All right.
He's over playing golf.
Welcome everybody. We're This Fan's View. We got a great guest tonight. I had the one book, but there's a couple more. So I hope you guys like to read books this summer because we got you figured out right here.
Oh yeah.
So our guest, Todd Zalecki.
Thank you.
Phillies guy, MLB.com, got his own podcast going with a couple other nice guys, Ruben Amaro, Jim Salisbury, talking Phillies, and that's what we're about tonight. We're going to talk Phillies, the All-Star game. If you guys got questions, Todd's got all the answers. So
I'm trying my best.
we're gonna break them down. We're gonna see who's getting traded, who's coming here, all of the above. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Grab some food, grab some beers, grab some raffle tickets. We got some great trivia prizes to give away. Last check, they were all 2008 autograph guys, right?
Yes, they were.
There were some good ones there.
Oh yeah.
So you might want to get Mike Schmidt. Look, he perked up.
Oh yeah.
I saw that. He got close.
Phil's perked up.
He got close. So yeah. So come, you guys want to move closer? Feel free.
Yeah.
You got the wait staff running around already. So eat up, drink up. Todd, I guess the first question is, how's the family? How's the little guy with his Pokemon? Because that's all I care about.
So my son Henry's a huge Pokemon guy, and he comes in and he likes to rifle through everything, which I have to tell him to be careful because I don't know what his expensive Pokemon and what's the average Joe Pokemon cards that I usually get. But I told him I was coming, and I said, I'm going to talk about you. He's like, don't talk about me. But because he doesn't get it. But no, he's doing great. The family's great. And we're in the middle of the baseball season, so everything is super hectic and chaotic. And we took them to a game a few Fridays ago because my kids love the City Connect jerseys, and they love the City Connect hats. So they wanted to go to a game where they could look like the players on the field. So my daughter had my middle child had the Kyle Schwarber City Connect jersey. My son had the jersey, and they both had the hats, and they both had a great time. Well, we had a great time up until the fifth inning, then we had to hightail it out of there. The 1-year-old was not cooperating, but it was fun.
That's good if you got to the fifth inning.
Yeah, it was. Right? It was good. We called that a win.
That's right.
We call that a win.
That's a big win.
Yeah.
Yeah, those City Connect jerseys uniforms are growing on us. It was a little bit different at first. You didn't know really what to expect, but I think they're doing well.
Yeah, I think when they came out, I think the Phillies definitely they thought that they were going to they were going to get some negative backlash on the jerseys because it's new and it's Philly and everybody's used to everything. Right. But they definitely I think have grown on people. And I'll tell you what, they're selling a ton of them.
Oh yeah,
and it's
you see them everywhere coming into stores.
Yeah, you see them everywhere. And kids love them, and I mean that was part of it was attracting a younger audience and getting kids into wearing a Phillies jersey. And so, and that success, they've been a tremendous success. And like I said, my kids love them; they think they're great.
Yeah. We were talking about it the one day. It almost looks like the little number angles on the number. It almost looks like a Nike swoosh.
It does. Yeah, exactly.
Like I had looked at it, just like stared at a picture once. You stare at it, and you kind of get that blank look, and it's like something just drew me to that. I'm like, is that a Nike swoosh on there?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So
they're fun to and I think the players like wearing them too.
Plus, they're winning in them.
Yeah, and they're winning. Yeah, exactly. That's a big part of it. They're not a losing team, so I think that only kind of adds to just the fan experience. You get one more jersey to buy, one more thing to look for.
Oh yeah.
And they get into it.
Exactly.
It's cool.
We're gonna have a lot of All-Star jerseys to be getting to buy.
That too, yeah. I mean, you have 8 different All-Star jerseys.
You like those?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I will say it sounds like next year they're very seriously considering going back to what it was in the day.
I hope so.
Which is what I love. The guys wearing their actual jerseys at the All-Star game.
100%.
Don't know if that's going to happen, but it sounds like Rob Manfred is talking about it and considering it. So that said, though, you mentioned the jerseys this year. I haven't been a big fan of the All-Star jerseys in the recent years, but these I actually thought were better than the other ones. I'm not saying I love them, but I think I like these better than the ones they've had in recent years. But I am hoping next year, if it's the All-Star game, Bryce Harper's wearing, red and white. We're wearing the red pinstripes.
As long as they figure it out by 26.
26.
26. Well, that's a great point. That's a great point. 26 in Philly for sure.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Today.
That would be cool.
I mean, the Phillies hats I thought were nice. The color scheme on that was, but the jerseys on that.
Those American League jerseys.
Oh.
My. Oh my.
Well, my wife said that last night. She's like, "What's with these jerseys? I don't get it." So, well, they have a special jersey for the All-Star game. So
yeah.
But I was encouraged by what I heard this week from Arlington that they're considering a new jersey. Yeah, that'd be cool.
There's our first hot take right there.
Yeah.
We're getting the jerseys, regular
Hopefully.
jerseys back
Hopefully.
in the All-Star game.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, it was
Breaking news.
Yeah.
It was in Texas, the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that, the whole Nolan Ryan, Pudge Rodriguez, Adrian Beltre, who was the fourth? Who am I missing? Throwing out the first.
Michael Young?
Yeah,
Was
probably.
it Young?
Michael Young?
Michael Young, yeah, you're right. I thought they did a great job.
Mhm.
They did do a great job. That
After
was
the
cool.
national anthem, everything was good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was not a good one. That was right up there.
Brian, did you get her drunk? Did you get that young lady drunk? Did you have her down in Wildwood this weekend?
I have no comment.
No comment. That means yes.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. It was a great game. Here's a question for you. So the baseball All-Star game, it appears that it's taken so serious.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball, they're running up the score. Football, they're running up the score. Here's baseball. The pitchers are actually, spinning and making pitches. What's the deal?
Yeah.
What's
back,
the deal
back
there?
in the day, it used to be really hardcore. Like,
Oh,
guys
yeah.
used to, Pete Rose ending Ray Fosse's career, right?
Right,
That
yeah.
was in the All-Star game.
Yep.
And I can't remember what year it was, but that's how it used to be. Then they kind of got away from
76, I
it.
think.
76.
77.
So
Yeah,
then
something like
they
that.
kind of got away from it, and then players would, guy would leave the game in the 30, he'd change, leave, and get out of there and fly home. But now I think they tried to make it more of a real game, and it would be I don't know how you can make it more of a laid back, high scoring affair, because it'd be tough to tell the pitchers to go out there and just throw cookies
Just
down.
groove 'em,
Yeah,
huh?
just groove them down the plate. They don't want to have
Yeah.
just
Well,
a lot of pride.
I think that's-
in their minds.
I think that's the difference between baseball and the other sports. Like the pitcher's gonna be he can't throw it up there 50 miles an hour, 60,
Right.
Just bad in practice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
football.
place,
In football, you're not going to really go at guys super hard, so you have more ability to throw the ball downfield.
Right.
Basketball, guys can
Get out of the
dog it
way.
on defense and stuff. Not so much in baseball.
I mean, I think Skeens was, I think he wanted to go the distance.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's a hungry young buck.
Yeah, he's good.
I was just glad to see that Skeens got to face Judge, and although it was only the one pitch, but I wanted to see that.
Well, that whole Soto
Yeah,
Judge thing.
yeah. Soto worked them, and got it to where Judge was able to get up there. That was a matchup that you wanted to see.
Yeah, that was a matchup you wanted to see, and that's what makes the All-Star game so fun. Is just seeing Bryce Harper, hitting behind Trey Turner, and
Right.
seeing these awesome lineups. Kettle Marte leading off, and I can't remember who. Shohei Ohtani hitting
Yeah.
second. Ohtani, Turner, Harper in the lineup is pretty cool to see.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly.
It was a lot of fun.
But yeah, it was a special night. The whole week so far has been special with the Phillies having the eight players that voted in, but 6 playing there, and Bowen in the All-Star game or the home run derby. So yeah, this whole weekend the Phillies.
Yeah, they showed
Showed up
well.
well.
Yeah, they showed well. Bowman had a great time, and all the Phillies that played in the All-Star game on Tuesday had all 3 position players got hits.
Yeah.
All three
Three pitchers.
got pitched. Didn't give up a run. I don't
Right.
think they gave up a hit.
No.
as far as I know.
Yep.
Yeah, Sanchez did. They were 2 pitches, 2 outs. That was music to Rob Thompson's and Caleb Coffin's ears, the Phillies pitching coach.
Yeah.
They were probably thrilled that he only went 2 pitches. You got to keep these guys fresh going into the second half.
Yeah. Doing that with the 2 pitches, Lovello had to be quick to go out there and get him because he probably figured you got 2 outs.
Yeah.
And he's telling the guy who's warming up in the bullpen, and he's like, "Really, 2 pitches out of that?"
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
and I got to go get you.
He had to rush him out.
Yeah, he took his time going out there.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it was special to see this whole, and it's nice to see the Phillies just continue to show up well.
Yeah, I think, Bryce, talking to Bryce before the All-Star game, he was really looking forward to playing in the All-Star game. He had made one All-Star team with the Phillies, but he was hurt and he could not play. And so when he came back from the injured list last week, even before, everybody's like, he is going to be back before the All-Star game because he wants to play in the All-Star game. Those are the types of things that matter to him. I think he wants to represent the Phillies and he wants to represent himself. And so, I think he's one of those guys that definitely goes in that game ready to put together the best effort. He's not there just to take a couple hacks, go home. I think he was out there trying to get hit every single time he almost had a home run to left center field. I think it was in the 5th or 6th inning. He almost hit one out.
Who was it, Ohtani, that paid him the ultimate compliment?
Yeah, Ohtani had a great compliment saying he's the guy that impressed me the most.
Yeah.
Which is pretty special.
Cool.
Yeah.
Saying something coming from him.
Yeah, no doubt. Most players would say they would want, be most impressed with Ohtani. So for Ohtani to say Harper, I think is a pretty neat thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Ohtani was a little impressive with that home run.
Yeah, he was a little impressive with that home run. Yeah, oh my gosh, what a stud! And that kind of just shows you how good the Phillies did against him the week before.
Right.
When the Dodgers were in town, he went 3 for 10. I think 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. All of his hits were singles.
Yeah.
They really kind of kept him in check. So that kind of speaks to the talent the Phillies pitching staff has as well. They did a good job. Exactly. They did a real good job.
All right, we can certainly come back to the All-Star game, but I wanted you to talk a little bit about your books.
Okay.
I guess this is probably, Doc,
Yeah.
that had to be great to put that together.
Yeah, that was a fun experience, a tough experience, but people really responded well to that book because one of the reasons why I wanted to write the Roy Halladay story is because I was totally blown away after his playing career, how he said, I'm going back to school because I want to be a mental skills coach. I want to be a sports psychologist. And here's a guy who made over $100 million in his life and could have just golfed and fished and went on vacation for the rest of his life. And he's like, I'm going to go back to school because I want to help players and pitchers like Harvey Dorfman, the famous sports psychologist, helped him. And so that was kind of the idea of the book. So I tried to get as much stuff of that as I could about his life and his struggles, through the minor leagues and early in his major league career, and try to tell that story. And of course, obviously, his struggles late in his career and late in his life as well. So that was something I tried to really, put in the book as much as I could. And fortunately, Roy's widow, Brandy Halladay, she was very cooperative. I talked to Roy's sister, Roy's dad, and they kind of helped paint that picture of who he was and everything. And that's why I think people responded to it, because they saw him not only as a great baseball player, but as a, just a real person with a lot of real problems, mental health problems, physical problems, addiction to, different medicines and medications. And I think that kind of just made him look like more of a human being. And I actually heard from a lot of people after they got the book, from people that were, struggling with various different things, mental health, addiction, whatever. And they said that book, reading him and how he fought, kind of inspired them to keep fighting. And so that was something that was kind of an unexpected, I guess, bonus of writing the book, is to know that people read it and it impacted them in a certain way based on what they were kind of going through in their life. So, and then of course, there's also just a lot of really fun baseball stories in there. There's, Roy's perfect game in May of 2010 in Miami. There's the no-hitter, the postseason no-hitter. There's all those great moments that he had, and it was fun talking a lot of his former catchers through the years, from his high school days, literally his high school catcher, through Carlos Ruiz, and a lot of those Phillies catchers that he had as well.
Yeah.
I can remember spring training. I go a lot, and I go for the workouts and just the baseball camaraderie amongst the players. One stuck out with me with him. After the day was over, there he is on the mound with 3 or 4 young pitchers going through different fundamentals, different things, things that you don't see.
Right.
You just don't see. And it just struck me, as like, what a good dude this guy is.
Yeah, he loved helping. He loved helping people. He loved helping the young kids, and he would help. That was a cool thing about when he became a mental skills coach for that one year with the Phillies. He talked to a lot of the minor leaguers there, and they all had Roy Halladay's number. And he's like, "Text me if you need me." And Roy would show up to a game that they were pitching if they had like a long talk that day before, and he loved working with those guys. He loved talking with his big league teammates too. Kyle Kendrick, he talked to him all the time about the mental side of the game, about the physical side of the game, about how to attack hitters and everything. And so he loved, because he was almost out of baseball early in his Blue Jays career. He was so bad. He had a 10.64 ERA, I think, or 10.46 ERA. So like
send him back.
Yeah, send him all the way down to A-ball, all the way down to Dunedin, Class A Dunedin after being in the big leagues. I think that ERA Roy had is still the highest ERA in baseball history of any pitcher with more than 50 innings in a season or something. So that's how awful he was.
And then to make it to the Hall of Fame.
And then to make it to the Hall of Fame after that.
Yeah.
And then there were he was literally months away from being released by the Blue Jays and probably never pitching again. And then he found Harvey Dorfman. He found the mental skills coach and learned that aspect of his life and made some mechanical adjustments with his delivery. And next thing you know, he's throwing no-hitters in the postseason.
Yeah, exactly.
What, any personal attachment to this? Like, is there pages of information that you really poured into that kind of you really took personal?
Yeah, really a lot of the stuff, anything that involved Brandy Halladay, just because she was very. I still remember pitching her the idea of at least letting me talk to her for the book, and she was very skeptical because of course the way Roy died in the plane crash and all the toxicology reports and all that stuff. I think she was nervous as it was going to be some sort of TMZ hit piece, takedown, National Enquirer style, salacious, and. I remember sitting down and talking to her like, this is not that book. And kind of what I just told you guys, the mental skills side, helping people, this is kind of my inspiration for the book and how I wanted to kind of see it go. And so she agreed. And then I had numerous conversations with her over the year, including the day about when Roy passed and how, her kids' reactions and stuff like that. So all those chapters where I quote her are very, those are probably the ones that hit me the most, and I take the most pride in because she trusted me to tell that story the right way, and every once in a while I'll hear from her, or I think I saw her in the ballpark, or maybe a year or two ago in Clearwater, and had a good talk with her. So she seemed to appreciate the efforts that I took to kind of tell that story rather than just tell the negative.
Sure.
Negative and story.
Yeah, I figured, you're going to put your name on it. You're going to do it right.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, exactly. No doubt.
So
It was actually pretty impressive to see her come back to Philadelphia when they retired his number.
Yeah.
To go out, to be able to go out there and speak, on his behalf, and doing that with the kids, and that was, an emotional, time for her, obviously, but to be able to go out there and do that was.
Yeah, she's super impressive. Just a very strong woman, and she was she was just great. And I know I think her one son, her oldest, Braden, I think he just graduated from college. He was still playing college ball, college baseball, pitching.
he had transferred out of
Penn
State.
he was at Penn State, and then he was at one or two other schools. But I think she's doing well. And,
Good.
it's great great to catch up with her again at some point.
Maybe you could take a couple of minutes and talk about the rotation, because
Yeah.
that was quite the pitching staff.
Yeah.
So
So that was a book that Jim Salisbury and I wrote in 2011. The idea was this team is going to win the World Series. So let's do a season with the 2011 Phillies. And for a long time, it was looking quite nice.
Yes.
Kind of looking like this season, like, oh, they're
I was
gonna
just
be
going to
great.
suggest to you after
Yeah,
you're done,
yeah.
not to write a book
Yeah.
just yet.
Yeah, no, exactly right.
Wait
Yeah,
till
we-
October,
yeah,
then you can write the book.
Yeah, we signed this book deal before the season started, thinking it was almost like a can't miss. And I probably should have known better, because there's no such thing as a sure thing in baseball. Like, you can kind of bet on the Patriots during the Super Bowl, at the peak or whatever. But that was we kind of went through the season with that team. We wrote down, covered as much stuff as we possibly could. And of course, they ran into the hot St. Louis Cardinals team in the 2011 NLDS. And then the book kind of went. So that's the book that, like I was saying, our publisher at the time, at the beginning of it, was this is going to be a hardcover book. We're going to have color photos inside. We're going to market the heck out of it. And then they got knocked out in the NLDS. It went from, we got a phone call one day going, yeah, so we're not going to do a hardcover. We're going to do a paperback. I'm like, okay, but we're still going to have the color photos inside, so don't worry about that. We go, okay. And then we got another call like 2 weeks later going, so we're not going to do color photos now anymore inside. We're going to go black and white photos. Okay. And then another week later we go, they called us and they go, yeah, we're not going to have any photos on the inside. So they basically just kind of pulled the plug on the entire book. No marketing campaign or anything, which I understand, because you aren't going to market a book on a team that was a huge disappointment in the postseason, no matter how good they were in the regular season, no matter how dominant that rotation was. And by some of the modern metrics, that is quite literally the single best performance by any rotation in baseball history. It's right up there with the 96 Braves and 97 Braves and 98 Braves. But that one, arguably, based on some of the modern metrics out there, is the best of all time, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Now, how talking about today's team versus the 2011 team, what similarities do
you
you
didn't
see?
even wait till 7 o'clock. You just jumping right in.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to see what the similarities you think, and obviously those guys had a. With Lee and Hamels, those guys had a career before. We got Sanchez and Suarez right at the moment, having phenomenal years. They just don't have that career behind them.
Correct.
But and plus the lineup's just pretty stacked, just as well as that team was back then.
I think that this team is better than that 2011 team. I think certainly they're on pace to win more games. I think that rotation, like you said, is with Halladay, Lee, Hamels, and Oswald. Was a more accomplished rotation, probably a better rotation, but this rotation right now, as it is probably the best in baseball. That rotation this season.
This whole pitching staff, really.
Yeah, this whole pitching staff. That rotation in 2011 was the best in baseball. So you have two great rotations. The 2011 rotation, I think you'd probably still pick ahead of this one. Although this one is very, very, very good.
Yeah.
I think this bullpen is probably better than that 2011 bullpen. And I do think that this offense is better than the 2011 offense. I think the 2011 Phillies, they were kind of starting on the downside.
Right.
Oatley was banged up. Howard was kind of on the trending downward. Jimmy Rollins was kind of trending downward a little bit. They weren't quite at the peak of their powers.
These guys are.
Yeah, these guys are. Harper's at the peak. Turner's at his peak. Bryce Harper could win an MVP this year. Trey Turner could be the first Philly to win a batting title since Whitey in 1958. So I think this offense is better. Defensively, the 2011 Phillies, I think, were better. But I think you go bullpen, rotation, offense. I think this 2024 Phillies team could take down that 2011 team in the best-of-7 series.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting, though. You get Roy Halladay and Devon and Cliff Lee. It's they could shut down anybody.
No, it's true. And that's the the one thing is pitching is going to dominate. In the playoffs type of thing. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Just we ran into, like I said, the Cardinals. It was
gosh.
one nothing.
One nothing.
You know,
Five, Chris Carpenter.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just baseball.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. Yeah, it's why you think the Phillies are going to win it this year, but you never know once the postseason starts. You get a hot Braves team or whatever. You have one bad week.
Well, yeah, that's it's
concern.
it's the one concern, I guess, with the way the baseball playoffs schedule
He
is.
just has one
Yeah.
concern.
One concern. Well, it's just the one
He's
concern.
got one concern.
Because I mean, it's just you've seen it.
Yeah.
6 out of the 8 teams over the past 2 years have lost that first round with the bye.
Exactly. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, assuming the Phillies do get a bye, which I would expect them to get a bye, how
Right.
they kind of handle that. Because I feel like this is a team that would not want to use that as an excuse, and I don't even know if it would necessarily be talked about before the
Right.
postseason. But I do think that they would want to do everything they can to make sure that that's not something like they're going into it going, oh boy, we've had 4 days off, we're
Right.
coming cold against the Braves. Whereas I feel like the Braves kind of like kept mentioning how they had the break and this is not good, and now we're rusty and
Schnicker was
cooled,
crying about it.
we cooled off, and I think they came up with a lot of excuses the past couple of years to the point where now I think the Phillies, if they would get to that point, they would make a point to not use that as an excuse,
Right.
To kind of use it as maybe fuel to stay sharp and to go into it thinking that they're still the best team and that they should win the next series and go all the way to the World Series. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's the one thing with this team too. It seems like you can just see this year. It's just the focus that they have
Yep.
is just different than in past years.
Yeah, this Phillies team is super focused. I think they're playing with an edge. I still think losing to the Diamondbacks in the NLDS or NLCS last year, I think it eats at those guys.
Right.
I think it fuels those guys. I think they're motivated by it. I think if you ask them right now, pull them aside, each player, and said, you guys felt like you should have won the World Series last year. I think everybody in there would have said, yes, we should have won the World Series last year.
Right.
But they didn't because they got cold the last 5 games of the NLCS. And so they did. So I think they came into this season really focused on making sure they don't make that same mistake again. I think they all realize that there's a window
Right.
for teams that they feel that they're in that window right now. And so every year that you don't get it done, it becomes a little bit harder because guys get older, injuries happen,
Right.
Players move on, they sign elsewhere, it becomes that much more difficult. But this is a team right now that I'm telling you, even when they win series and they sweep the Dodgers, there's no sitting there going, all right, we swept the Dodgers, we sent the message. It's like, no message was sent. All right, we have to keep focused on trying to win the World Series.
That's what I was going to say. 'Cause you can always hear when Schwarber was talking, and maybe about a month and a half ago, I caught on to it more. Last couple of years, it was like, okay, yeah, we move on to the next game.
Yep.
We'll move on. And now, when they would lose a game, now after they lose a game, he's like, no, we're mad.
Right. Yeah. I think.
So it's like a different mindset right there, just like
They.
not just flushing it, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that they are just going to keep that kind of laser sharp focus
Mm-hmm.
from game to game and series to series. I think they want to get that first round bye. But again, I think going into the postseason, I will be curious to see kind of how they talk about that little break that they're expected to get. Because I don't think that they want to go into it thinking negatively or, oh boy,
Right.
are we going to do what the Braves did the last 2 years? I think they kind of want to make sure that they avoid that.
I think Rob Thompson's got a little something up his sleeve.
He does.
He's always prepared.
He's a great motivator.
Right.
He's a tremendous manager. I know I get a lot of fans saying, every time the lineup comes out, that Rob Thompson's never made a good lineup. I don't know if you guys know that. Either it did Larry Boa or Charlie Manuel, or every day the lineup was just the worst lineup of all time. It's so funny. Every time I tweet up the lineup, it's just the worst lineup ever made. But no, I think Rob does a great job managing the team. He's a tremendous leader of people, and I think that's something that the players really respond to.
All right, we got to do some advertising, some of this, some of that. First things first, did everybody get their raffle tickets? 2 free ones. Come on up and treat yourself. Buy some extras because all this great memorabilia is going home with somebody tonight. So you, yeah, okay, you. All right, good luck. We draw raffle prizes right around 8 o'clock. So hang out. Just make sure you come up and see Sue, get your 2 free ones, and buy as many as you like because the money goes into our CCC charity. We just did a big check donation for Brian Prop's stroke center with the University of Penn, so we're really excited about that. What else have we got going on? We got a great guest next month, but we still got to have the show to talk here. But I'm just throwing the tease out there so you guys will stick around. So, Lauren's ready to go with the Mattis Minute. We're going to take questions afterwards for Todd, and then we'll do a little trivia prize action because we got some great prizes to give away there. We could probably keep Todd for 2 hours talking baseball, but he's got to put the kids to bed.
That's right. That's right.
So we're gonna limit it. So I'm gonna hand it off to Lauren. It's all yours.
All right, so we have the Mattis Minute. So since you're new to the show, it's just a series of 10 questions. Most of them are just silly questions. We want the first thing that comes to your mind, but if you have a good story about it, we want to hear that too.
Okay.
Which baseball movie do you prefer? The Natural, Field of Dreams, Major League, or Bull Durham?
This is a no-brainer. Major League. And you want to know why?
Yeah.
I'm in that movie as an extra. I'm in that movie as an extra for real. They filmed Major League in Milwaukee at Old County Stadium, and my dad took me down to shoot extra scenes. And there's a scene when the bus comes into County Stadium after they just told Wild Thing Ricky Vaughn that he's not going to start. I'm holding a sign that says Indian Fever as the camera pans down. I'm on there for 2 seconds. You can barely see me. It's very blurry, but it is me. So that's my favorite baseball movie.
We're all going home and watch that
Yes.
tonight.
Yes.
I claim that was me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What was the earliest year you remember buying a pack of baseball cards?
Oh man, that's a great question. I mean, I would say right around this shirt, this is a top 1984 baseball card pack. I would say 84, 85, right around that time. It's definitely when I started collecting baseball cards when I was a kid.
Okay. Aren't you glad you get to write about baseball instead of soccer?
I definitely know more about baseball. I love baseball. Yeah, for sure. This is definitely the right spot for me to be writing about baseball every day.
Do other people in the press box ever get mad at you when you try to take home a doggy bag of food with you for later?
No, they do not. The problem with eating in the press box is it'll kill you if you eat in there too much. So I try to limit myself as much as I possibly can. So I limit the food and then I end up taking home.
When was the last time you bought a newspaper?
When was oh my gosh, I cannot tell you the last time I actually physically bought a newspaper. Even though I used to work at the Inquirer for years, I do subscribe to the Inquirer digitally, and I do get the Sunday delivered to my home, so I do get the physical newspaper. But I am kind of old school. I wish I had more time to actually open up the paper and read it, but I read it online. Yeah.
Does Joe Girardi ever text you just to see if you remember him?
This is a true story. No, the answer is no. Joe Girardi was one of the few managers I've ever covered that would not give out his cell phone to the beat writers. Most of them usually would, as long as you didn't abuse it. Joe had a policy of not giving any reporter his number ever. That was something he did not want to be bothered with, and he did not want to think that he was playing favorites with anybody. Like, I talked to this guy on the phone, so don't have Joe's number. He doesn't have my number either.
Is there one opposing team's city and stadium you dislike having to travel to?
Wow. So I'm going to stick to the NL only because I would say Oakland for sure. Even though I know that's an AL, that's probably the most difficult one to get to. It's kind of a pain. I would say Oakland, an NL. NL ballpark I don't like going to. I can't think of one. They're all pretty okay. Yeah, I don't dislike going to any city. Yeah.
During roll call in school, did you ever wish your name was Aaron instead of Zalewski?
That is great. I was always the last kid in the back every single time. Yeah. There was times, yeah, for sure. When I was like in the second, third grade, I was like, man, I wish my last name wasn't Zalecki because I'm always last for everything. So that is 100% true.
Especially at graduation.
Exactly, graduation for sure.
Has John Kruk ever tried to give you an unwanted kiss at the stadium?
No, no. John Kruk, he is a peach. He would never do such a thing. He's the best. So we love Crucky.
All right, and the last one. Did you ever feel like a player or manager might want to punch you over a question you asked them?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. There's definitely moments when players get mad. There's definitely moments when they get irritated with you. They raise their voice. I mean, I've had players come up to me the next day and kind of get in my face and stuff like that. And I had the most famous story I can say, because he all-time great is the late great John Vukovic, longtime Phillies coaches at the Phillies Wall of Fame. When Larry Bow was managing, they had like a 10-game losing streak, or they were playing poorly at the beginning of the season. They went on this long winning streak. And I wrote a little note that says one of the reasons why the Phillies might be playing better is because some of the players went to the front office and Larry Bow was being too kind of like tense in the dugout. It was making them too tense. And so they told him to kind of cool it. So I wrote this, and then the next day, John Vukovic, who was like, he went to high school, he's like best friends with Larry Bow. He chewed me out in the middle of the clubhouse like I've never been chewed out in my entire life. Questioned my manhood, was dropping F-bombs on me. It was crazy. Now, I sat there and I took it. Because I was totally floored by this. And but this is the type of guy that John Vukovic was, and this is why I love this guy. He screamed at me, F-bomb, 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 you're not a man, you got to name your source, how dare you, da-da-da-da-da. The next day I saw him at the vet, this is at the vet, I'm walking up the dugout, into the clubhouse, he's walking down, I'm like, oh my God, here we go. He goes, hey Todd, how are you? He had a big smile on his face. He was letting me know, hey, I wanted to make a point, that point was made, we're totally cool. And we quite often laugh. I would bring that up every once in a while. Hey, remember that time you chewed me out in the middle of the clubhouse and you totally like embarrassed me? And we would kind of laugh about it, you know? And so that's one of my best stories. And I love that story because the next day he was like, kind of like a little wink, like, we're cool, don't worry about it. I got it out of my system, don't worry about it. And so I love that guy. He was one of the all-time best. Yeah.
All right. That
That's
was
awesome.
Where is that Bill Mattis? Back there playing on the golden tee? There, he's back there. Good job, Billy. Good job.
I think plenty of time has passed now. So who was that source? Scott Rowland?
No, I can't say that who that source was, but there was a couple people that told me that story. For that story in Inquiry, they got moved so riled up. But you know, I think I even once brought that story up to Bo, one of the former Phillies PR guys. Greg Castriata brought it up with Larry Bow after Vuk had passed away, and we kind of had a good laugh about it because Vuk was Larry's right-hand man, and he bled Phillies red, and so he would do anything he could to defend the Phillies organization, and that's what he was doing in that moment. And that's why Vuk is one of the all-time greatest guys I've ever met in baseball.
Respected.
Yeah,
All
he was awesome.
They grew up together.
John
going through the minor leagues and everything.
And John Vukovic, Scott Rowland made a point to mention John Vukovic when he got
Yes.
inducted to the Hall of Fame, saying that was one of the most influential guys I've ever known in my career. Is he really kind of put me on the path of my Hall of Fame career, playing defense and third base and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
All right. Talk about staying on path. Trivia.
Let's do it.
Trivia.
All right.
Mike Schmidt, are you ready?
We're going to do a little all-star trivia.
All-star trivia. Are you ready, Phil? I'm ready. Kevin, are you ready? You look like you're sleeping. Brian Friel, are you ready?
All right.
I'm checking. Let's go.
All right. So, how many home runs did Alec Boehm hit in the home run derby on Monday night? Total.
I don't know if I know that.
36.
Yep, that is correct.
36.
Wow,
That
that's
is
good.
correct.
All right, so just so we know, Delco, the format is once you win, you're good, right? You're not gonna pick a fight on the guy next to you because you want another prize. So, all right, let them have it, Johnny.
That's right. All right. So, what was the order the Phillies pitchers pitched last night? The three of them.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. We can wait.
Sanchez, Stroh.
There you go. Good job.
I like it. 2 for 2.
That's right.
This is good. They
Oh.
either Googled it. No, they couldn't have that.
No,
fast.
no.
Yeah.
They just didn't blink because they would have missed Sanchez.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
better
No,
not-
you're good.
sorry.
You're good with that. You're
Sorry,
good with that.
You get angry when you give away the.
Give away some trivia future. All right. During the futures game, Phillies had 2 players play. How many hits did they combine for?
I don't know this one either.
Two hits.
That is incorrect.
Okay, I got it back here. Go ahead, Brian. 0.
Wow, that's no respect. No, no respect. What's that?
1.
1 is correct. Good job. Justin Crawford had the 1 hit. Aiden Miller had an RBI though in the game as well.
That's right, I remember that.
All right. Who was the first Philly to participate in the home run derby?
Bobby Abreu.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
I think I know this one.
Going all the way back, right, to the very first home run derby, maybe? You're shrugging your shoulders?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was of the modern, they've,
Modern day.
well, that they've televised, yeah. Well, he's just looking at the notepad, so no, he can't now. He might have been able to 30 seconds ago, but not now.
He's critiquing us up here. So.
No, I'm just saying if I know the answer or not. Where's the answer? Oh, yeah.
Anybody?
Come on now, let's go.
First Philly?
It's Phillies within the 2000s. That's when they started the home run derby.
Actually, I covered this one.
Jim Tomey.
That is correct. Good job.
Don't tell me. 2004, right?
2004, that is right.
At Animated Park.
All right. As we know, Johnny Callison hit the walk-off home run in 1964. Which ballpark was it in? Come on, Brian. I thought you would have had this one by now. That was like your time. No. It's closer.
And it wasn't Wildwood either.
No.
What was that answer? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. All right.
NL East ballpark if you need help. No, Pittsburgh's not correct.
What was the name?
The NL East team.
Got a guy down at the end of the bar, Lauren.
Well, back in the day, the Pirates were with the NL East.
Shea?
Shea Stadium is correct. There you go. That's okay.
As long as he gets me a beer, he's fine.
He's bringing us the food later on. We're good. Taking our order.
He wasn't anywhere near the notepad, so we're good.
That's right.
Now Brian wants to be the boss.
All right. During the, I believe it was the 4th inning, when Alec Bohm got his hit, who did he get? Who was the pitcher that gave up the hit to Alec Bohm? Who was the pitcher that gave up the hit to Alec Bohm? What are you Googling it?
Well, wait, that's my job. Stop.
Okay, sorry.
That's my job.
I know, but you didn't see it. She got her phone. She got her thumb going right there
That's
perfectly.
Jason's daughter.
I know it is.
Oh, yeah, super cheater.
Super cheater.
Yeah, super cheater, for sure. For sure. for sure.
It's an American League pitcher, by the way.
Of course it is.
I'm just narrowing it down for everybody.
Oh, I know.
Anybody? A hint. How about a hint? How about a hint?
He's what is he? He's a White Sox pitcher, right?
You got a guess.
That is incorrect. White Sox pitcher. I can't give it away. I mean, what do you want? Do you want his initials too?
All right, let's move on. We'll come back to it. We'll give him time to Google it.
All right. During the second round of the Home Run Derby, who did Alec Bohm face?
Hernandez.
You got to give us the first name too.
What's his first name? Hey, Oscar.
There you go. There we go.
You just wanted to see if they could pronounce it. That's
Exactly.
all. You're being mean now.
Oh, hey.
Now you're being mean.
Oh, hey. This is
How about
cutthroat.
Todd? How about that deal? 1 year for the Dodgers? Huh?
Getting him.
Is that money
Oh,
well
yeah.
spent?
And no such thing as a bad 1 year deal, especially when it works out like that. Yeah. That's tremendous. Pat Gilligan used to say that there's no such thing as a bad 1 year deal.
Nope.
You're taking a flyer on the guy and you hit.
There you go.
It's worth it.
Lauren, what do we have? Two more?
Yes.
All right. For the how many hits did the Phillies 3 hitters have last night?
3 players. How many hits?
3.
That is correct.
Sorry.
That is correct.
All right, last one.
Last one, since you couldn't get the Garrett Crochet, is that am I saying?
Garrett Crochet, yeah.
Crochet. That was the guy who gave up Alec Bohm's hit. Last night during the game, the Phillies had 3 pitchers pitch. How many pitches did they throw in total?
All right, I'll help you out. Sanchez had 2.
There you go. And he had 2 of the 4 outs as well with those two pitches. Someone cheated.
Somebody's feeding her.
Close, but not correct. 8 is incorrect. Going the wrong direction.
11.
11 is correct. Good job.
Good job, everybody. Good job.
Good.
Good job.
A very, very impressive performance by the Phillies pitching staff. 11
Yeah,
pitches. Like we were saying,
Yeah.
Rob Thompson's got to be.
Rob Thompson and Caleb Cotham were thrilled. Because
Exactly.
they only threw 11 pitches.
They would have thrown more than that just by sitting at home.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So that's good for them.
Yeah. Plus, they all got out there and did their job. So that
Good
was
job. They had a good experience. That's kind of cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, before the night gets away from us totally, because you got a podcast yourself,
Yeah.
and can you talk a little bit about it, the guys that are involved? And you had a really good one with Chase Up.
No, thank you.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it's the Philly Show. Ruben Amaro Jr., Jim Salisbury, and myself. We decided to start a podcast literally right before opening day. Jim and Ruben were talking about doing one for all off season, and they weren't really sure. Then I said, "Well, what if I help you guys out?" And they said, "Oh, okay, sure." So we started it. We literally taped it. Our first episode the day before opening day. I had no idea what I was doing, and put it up there, and it's continues to grow, and people seem to really enjoy it. I think. We've had Bryce Harper on, we've had Chase Utley on, we've had Cole Hamels, Pat Burrow, Jeff Francoeur. We're gonna still try to get guests, and then when we don't have guests, it's just the 3 of us talking baseball. I think people like the show because there's just an appetite for just solid, grounded baseball talk.
Right.
It's not. I think there's enough hot takes out there in the world of baseball talk, and just in general, just with everything. Everything's got to be a super hot take or some crazy, idea that's being thrown out there or whatever. And our Jim and I, with our experience as longtime baseball writers, and Ruben, obviously, who's done it all. He's been a general manager, a coach, a player. a bat boy, assistant general manager. He's scouted. He's done it all. Now he's a broadcaster nationally and locally. We can provide a lot of perspective on like, okay, here's what the Phillies might do at the trade deadline. Here's some reasons why they might do it. Here are some reasons why they might not do it. Rather than just say, trade all their top prospects and go get the 3 best players in baseball, even if it's not realistic. So I think people kind of appreciate that side of the show, and that's why I think people have responded so well to it. So it's been fun to do. We have a good time, and we goof around too, and I think people like us when we goof around. So
Do you have a set schedule? Does it drop a certain day or anything?
we always try to do one Monday morning coming off the weekend series, and then we will do one later in the week, either on a Thursday if it's an off day, maybe if it's maybe Friday morning. But we always try to do one Monday morning and then later in the week. But we might be going to a 3-show schedule coming up, maybe like shorter episodes but more frequent, just so we can get to more topics and kind of keep everybody updated. Because baseball, everything is so fast moving. It's fast moving for a 162 game season, I guess you could say. So what you talk about on Monday might be totally outdated, and you might miss some things that by the time it happens on Friday. So we might be picking up the schedule, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And it's only going to get more fun as it's going forward here with the playoffs coming up, and this team's just fun to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that obviously that's made it great. I mean, if this was 2017 and we started a podcast, nobody would care. You know what I mean? 'Cause they'd be on their way to a 98 loss season or whatever. So the fact that they're playing great and we started this at the same time, it's just benefits us. In terms of building an audience and getting people to listen, and
Exactly.
So that part's been great. Obviously, the team helps.
So talk a little bit about yourself. You've been in the baseball world, the writing world, covering the Phillies.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. How you got started and where you're at today.
Yeah, so I grew up in Wisconsin. I grew up right outside of Milwaukee. I grew up a Brewers fan. So my earliest baseball memories was the '82 Brewers. The only time they went to the World Series. Robin Yount, my favorite player of all time. Paul Mahler, my number 2 favorite player of all time. I went to the University of Minnesota. Then I got a 2-year internship at the Inquirer, covering high school sports, like in Chester County and here in Delco. I didn't know it was called Delco, but I just called it Delaware County because I didn't know anything about anything. When I first moved out here, people going, "You going to the shore this weekend?" I'm like, "The shore? What's that?" I had no idea. That's not like I had no idea what anything was out here.
You mean the beach?
Yeah, the beach? You mean? No, we don't. The shore. It's the shore. I'm like, okay, it's the shore. I had no idea. But I started covering high school sports. Started covering the Phillies in 2003, and I've just been covering them ever since. I covered them with the Inquirer through 2008 when they won the World Series, and I went to MLB.com in 2009, and I've been at MLB.com. I've been at MLB.com since then. But I just love covering. I've loved covering baseball. It's been an awesome experience. But yeah, married a Delco girl. Now we got 3 kids, and we live in media. And
they're Delco kids.
Yeah, they're Delco kids. Yep. So
And you go to the shore.
we go to the shore. Now they know what the shore is. And I talk to people. I'm like, wait, you don't know what the shore is? And tell my parents back home, like, what's the shore? I'm like,
You
oh,
drink
God.
plenty of water.
My water, yeah, tell them about the water. I thought that was great the other night with the
Stole the show.
Alec Boehm's drinking jug, which is actually, for people that don't know, that's the jug he carries with him all the time. I don't know if they ever showed that in the dugout.
They do once in a while.
Every once in a while,
you see
yeah.
it.
So yeah, okay. So that is his jug that he carries around with him everywhere. So the fact they slapped a water sticker on the side, I thought was a great touch.
Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Questions, comments, anybody? There's Shawnee. Here we go. His nickname is Wheels, by the way.
All right, Wills.
So with the trade deadline coming up,
Yeah.
the end of the month, come August 1st, what's the Phillies roster going to look like? And if they do make any moves, what do you think they will be, and what will it take you to get that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think they're going to do something. They're going to do something. Dave Dombrowski is going to make a trade to improve this team. I would be stunned he just ended up not doing anything. I think he knows this team is close. I think he understands the importance of making a trade to juice up the guys in the clubhouse, to show them a sign of faith. That stuff matters, and it's real. That impact is real. I think they're going to try to get a right-handed hitting outfielder to kind of do what Whit Merrifield was supposed to do, somebody with some pop maybe. I think they would also like to get another late inning reliever. I think they could get both. There's a lot of talk about, do they go all in? Do they go all in? But the feeling around the game right now is that there's not going to be a Juan Soto traded at the trade deadline, for instance, or a Max Scherzer, or those types of superstar players. So I think you could see a more, I want to say marginal type of player moved, but a non-superstar player that the Phillies could acquire. Like Brent Rooker might be at the top of that scale in terms of a power bat, but the guy also hasn't played left field since May 30th. And he's only played left field 9 times all year.
That's okay.
Yeah.
He's better than Kyle Schwarber,
Well,
right?
that's the thing, you don't know. I assume he would be, but the fact that he hasn't played out there, I don't know that. But I think, reliever, you maybe could get like a guy like a Kenley Jansen-ish type of pitcher, maybe late inning guy that can help give them a little bit more depth in the postseason if Gregory Soto is struggling or Anthony Dominguez is struggling, because you can't just lean on Strahm, Hoffman, and Alvarado and Kirkring in the postseason. So I think you could get one more arm there. So I would bet a right-handed corner outfielder, could get a center fielder. I would bet on a late inning reliever. In terms of the prospects they would give up, again, it depends who it is.
Right.
Aiden Miller, their top position player prospect. I personally would not trade him unless I'm getting like a superstar player. I think he is going to be a star. Andrew Painter, who's hurt, is their top pitching prospect. I would hold on to him. I think he'd probably maybe even be selling low on him right now. But I would be aggressive, but I wouldn't be stupid because, here's an example. In 2008, CC Sabathia was available, and everybody's like, the Phillies got to go out and get CC Sabathia. And they made a run at him. But the Indians that year, the Brewers that year made the bigger offer, so they got CC Sabathia. The Phillies got Joe Bland, and nobody was excited. Who won the World Series? The Phillies won the World Series with Joe Bland.
Who hit a home run during the World Series?
Joe Bland hit a home run in the World Series, So the point being that just by going all in and making the biggest trade doesn't necessarily guarantee you success. I don't think this team has a lot of holes. So if you could find a bat to help you against left-handed pitching, like a Brent Rooker, or there's some of the guys in Anaheim that might be available. There's I'm trying to think of some of the other outfielders.
Mike Trout available?
Yeah, Mike Trout. Yeah, maybe not Mike Trout.
Breaking news again.
Then I would trade. If I could get Mike Trout maybe for a few years. But somebody, just a good solid bat that can help them out, I think would go a long way, and a relief pitcher could go a long way. I would be surprised if it's a blockbuster, but you never know. As the deadline approaches, the asking prices obviously go down. Teams get more antsy that need somebody, so maybe the Phillies and some other team can kind of meet in the middle and offer surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mason Miller possibility?
I think so. Mason Miller, he would be great. We were actually talked about him on our podcast the other day, like a Brent Rooker Mason Miller combo deal. What would that look like? And that would be a huge. Like, there'd be like Justin Crawford, Mick Abel, a few other prospects maybe.
So what's happening then?
What's that? Yeah.
What's happening?
I don't know if the Phillies would go that far, but boy, I tell you what, if you can get both of those guys, I could see, if the price is right, I wouldn't see why Dave Dombrowski wouldn't at least explore it, But
Right.
But he's got 5 more years of team control. He throws 103 miles an hour. So the price on somebody like that is going to be extraordinarily high.
He's higher, yeah, and Rooker has until 2027.
Yeah, exactly. So that those two guys would cost a lot, and so a lot of people don't think Mason Miller would get traded. And a couple other names that have been mentioned are like Luis Robert Jr. of the White Sox, Jazz Chisholm Jr. I don't think the Phillies are interested in either of those.
Thank you. Robert, I mean, he's a nice player when he's healthy, but
Yeah, he's hurt all the
He's hurt way too
time.
much.
You know, he's seen there's a couple plays in the field this year where he kind of wondered if his head was in the game. And I don't think Jazz Chisholm's a fit on the Phillies either. This is a guy who, before the postseason last year, said they would sweep the Phillies. He's trashed, he's kind of trashed the teammates, former teammates. I don't think that's a style that would fit in that clubhouse, which kind of likes to keep things kind of calm, cool, collected. So the reports that they're going after Chisholm and Robert, even Cody Bellinger, I don't think are necessarily true.
yeah. And so, any rumors to the Mason Miller, going to the All-Star game with the Phillies? They were working deals.
No, it sounded like they chit-chatted a little bit on the plane, but Juan Soto did the same. Was it Juan Soto? Yeah,
Yes.
Juan Soto flew with the Phillies last day of the All-Star
Right.
game.
Yeah, last year.
I know this happens all the time.
Right.
So the Phillies are a few years ago, I think the Phillies might have been in Miami at the break, and so they flew with the Marlins on their plane to the All-Star game. It might have just been it might have been like Aaron Nola or whoever it was.
Just courtesy.
That's a courtesy thing that happens all across baseball. So wherever the Dodgers were before the All-Star break, they flew probably with the team they played their All-Stars to the All-Star game. So that stuff happens all the time. So it doesn't mean that they're going to because Bryce Harper can't make a trade for Mason Miller, even if he wants him. It has to be Dave Dombrowski and
no, but he can go to Dave and say, Dave, make that
yeah.
happen.
And he has done that, but I think Dave would also go, do you want to trade Miller, Andrew Painter, Mick Abel, and mortgage our future, blah, blah, blah. I can see some fans, now's the time to go for it, I guess.
Right.
But I also think that some of those players, they do need to keep that window as open as long as you possibly can.
How nice is it being able to say all those names? Just a few years ago, we wouldn't have been able to mention those names, which goes to my next point is how great is it having a general manager like Dave Dombrowski taking over compared to what we've had in the past right before.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Dave is a Hall of Famer. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's a no doubt. I mean, I think he's a no doubter now, but if he wins the World Series with the Phillies, he's a shoo-in for sure.
Right.
Well, they've built this minor league system with who was it, Brian Barber?
Brian Barber,
And
Preston Mattingly.
Preston Mattingly. I mean, they're baseball guys.
Yeah, they're baseball guys, and they've done a good job. They've hit on some guys recently. Mick Abel has struggled this year with AAA, but Andrew Painter, I think when he comes back, I think he still has the potential to be a star pitcher. Aiden Miller, I think, is a stud. Justin Crawford's on his way. He just got promoted to Reading, so they have some talent in that system now that they can think about trading those guys. Whereas a few years ago, you wouldn't even dream about it because you're a borderline wild card team, and it's like, well, we're not one piece away. But now there actually are one piece away, so we're sitting here talking about, do you mortgage the future to go for it this year and maybe get a Mason Miller, a Brent Rooker, or whoever else might be out there to trade deadline.
And having the ability of Christopher Sanchez stepping up and Ranger Suarez, that kind of takes the pressure off the Painter and Abel as far as we don't need to rush them to fill those spots.
Totally, yeah. I think that part is huge. You have, now going forward, you have 4 guys in that rotation: Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, Sanchez. Through 2025 at least, when Suarez becomes a free agent. Now you only have to fill that one spot. Right now, you have Taijuan Walker signed for 2 more years.
Right.
But if Andrew Painter comes back next year, and I think he's going to be pitching competitively next season, maybe he pushes Taijuan Walker. And I think at that point, after you have less than 2 years in the deal, all bets are off. You're going to give Taijuan Walker an opportunity to pitch and succeed because you're paying him all this money, but once it gets into next season, if he's still struggling and Andrew Painter looks like he's going to be the stud that they think he is, then you give him that opportunity. So it's fun to have a team with options, multiple options. When you talk about how are they going to fill this hole going forward, and what are they going to do? When fans are talking about, well, Aiden Miller's a shortstop, what's going to happen? Well, maybe Alec Bohm signs somewhere else as a free agent. Maybe Bryson Stott struggles and they move Aiden Miller to second base. There's all sorts of crazy
Maybe they move him
options.
to left field.
Maybe they move him to left field. They turn him into outfielder. Maybe Trey Turner at some point moves to center field. Who knows?
Right.
There's a lot of things that could happen, probably won't happen, but it's fun to at least have those conversations right now of, because this team is so good and they have some top prospects of, boy, it's kind of a nice problem to have, a nice conversation to have, rather than, man, if this guy goes down, they're screwed. They got nobody in the system that could possibly come up in the next 3 years to help them. You know?
Right.
So it's a nice change of pace.
Now, on the Andrew Painter part, coming off Tommy John and only really having 26 starts in minor league baseball.
Yeah.
How realistic is he able to come up next year?
Next year?
You know, or even a year afterwards.
Yeah, I think
get stretched out.
I think it's super realistic 2026.
Okay.
I think next year's also realistic based on just how he is pitching and throwing. So he's already throwing off the mound right now. He's throwing off the mound in Clearwater. I don't know how strenuous these bullpen sessions are, or how many days go in between each of them. But he is throwing off the mound, and he's building up. I think the Phillies are going to play it super safe with him. I think if it was not to say that they would do this with another pitcher, but say it was a veteran pitcher who blew out last year, I think there's a chance that pitcher could try to come back later this season. They're not going to bother with that with Andrew Painter. Obviously, right? They want to keep him. They're going to be patient. So I think by next spring, early next season, there's a good chance that he'll be all systems go and maybe ready to push. But that's a good reminder though, because I'm going to try to check on that this week or the next week and see kind of how he's doing.
All right, couple things. Lauren has Reading Fighting Phil's tickets. If anybody's interested, come up and see her. Todd's going to hang out for a little bit. If anybody's interested in his books, come on up. We can make that happen. And as I promised do I have everybody's attention? Everybody, drum roll, please. Our next show here is August 14th. And our guest, any guesses, Mike Schmidt? Our next guest, any guesses? Ed Wade.
That's cool.
Ed Wade will be here.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's a great guy. That'll be a fun one for sure.
it'll be a fun one.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If it wasn't for him keeping them around,
Yep.
that 08 team's not around. Yep.
So again, let's give a big hand for Todd. Todd Zalecki.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Great conversation on baseball. Just you could talk for hours. Again, raffle tickets, dig deep. The money's going to charity. I'd like to see everybody, leave here with some nice pieces. Ed Wade, August 14th. Lauren, I usually miss something. Did I miss anything? I'm good. Todd, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks to all of you guys.
I'll be in soon to get some Pokemon cards for my boy.
There you
There you
go.